Welcome to Business News on Housing TV Africa. I am Maimuna Bagudu. Let's take a look at what is happening in the world of business. Senate passes 54.99 trillion naira 2025 budget. Nigerian crude oil production rises above 1.5 million BBD, says OPEC. Licensed loan app companies in Nigeria surged to 380 amid concerns over shady practices. In the stock market, equity market gained 842 billion naira, highest in February. Now the news in detail. Now the Nigerian Senate on Thursday passed the sum of 54 trillion 990 billion 165 million 355,396 naira as aggregate expenditure of the federal government in the 2025 fiscal year. The bill was passed after the upper chamber reviewed key highlights of the bill, which outlined a total aggregate expenditure of 54.99 trillion naira. Now the budget's breakdown includes significant allocations from recurrent spendings, capital projects and debt servicing, as well as a projected fiscal deficit. Key budget allocations include total expenditure of 54.99 trillion naira, statutory transfers of 3.65 trillion naira, a non-debt recurrent expenditure of 13.64 trillion naira, capital expenditure of 23.96 trillion naira, debt servicing of 14.32 trillion naira, fiscal deficit of 13.08 trillion naira, and deficit to GDP ratio of 1.52%.
A bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation, the total sum of 54 trillion 990 billion 165 million 355,366 naira only, of which 3 trillion 645 billion 761 million 358,925 naira only is for statutory transfers. The sum of 23 trillion 963 billion 251 million 624,250 naira only is for contribution to Development Fund for capital expenditure for the year ending on the 31st day of December. This bill is read a third time and passed. And I hope that this appropriation bill will contribute to moving Nigeria forward and will assist Mr. President in his renewed hope agenda to renew the hope of Nigerians in all facets of life, from infrastructure to security and to provision of even respect for this country from the international community, most especially to leave a better nation for the future generations of this country.
President Bola Tinubu had originally presented a 49.7 trillion naira budget to the National Assembly on December 18th, 2024. However, on February 5th, 2025, he reversed the budget upwards to 54.2 trillion naira, citing additional revenue to be generated by key government agencies. Now, the Senate on Thursday urged the federal government of Nigeria to include Northeast in the superhighway project, just as it commended President Bola Tinubu for the 4.2 trillion naira coastal roads project. Now, the Senate called for inclusion of Northeast in its superhighway project followed a motion moved to that effect by Senator Mohammed Danjuma Goje. Senator Goje, in the motion entitled Federal Government Approval of 4.2 trillion naira for construction of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road and other road projects nationwide, lamented that out of the 4.2 trillion road project, only 19 billion naira for rehabilitation of 2 out of many others in the northeast was allocated to the zone.
It recalls that at the Federal Executive Council meeting of Monday, 3rd February 2025, the federal government approved the sum of 4.2 trillion naira for the construction of Lagos-Calabar Road and other major highways and bridges across the country. It is imperative to note that in this laudable project, the Northeast has only 2 road projects, that is Yola-Fufore-Gori Road in Adamawa State, 11 billion, and Karolamelo Road in Taraba State, 7 billion, totaling all about 19 billion out of the approved sum of 4.2 trillion, the whole zone.
In support of the motion, cross-section of lawmakers call for inclusion of roads in their constituencies.
Mr. President, it is true that our roads across Nigeria requires attention, and I therefore support the motion that the Honourable Minister should be invited to please speak to the Senate about what is happening, notwithstanding the fact that we do not have enough funds, but then we may see that effort is being made. Today I stand before you to represent the people of Lagos State, and we will be able to speak about Lagos-Badagry Road. Lagos-Badagry Road was commenced around 2023. Up until now, Lagos-Badagry has not been completed. Similarly, Lagos-Abeokuta is also there. These are roads that will plead that the Honourable Minister and the Senate should please call the attention of the Minister to. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to speak.
And Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriations, Senator Adeola Solomon, in his contribution, however, clarified that allocation for the 4.2 trillion naira coastal road project was not done on zonal basis. The President of the Senate, in his remarks, said until Nigeria has a serious roadmap for constant rehabilitation and maintenance of roads across the country, the issue of road deplorability in Nigeria will remain.
I believe strongly that if previous administrations in the country had actually gone into a serious roadmap on road construction and rehabilitation, most of the complaints we are having will not be there. As Senator Goje was presenting his motion, I was just imagining what will happen in 10 years' time, when others will jump up to say that the coastal road is in deplorable condition and that nothing has happened since construction, and that section this to this, nobody can pass and all that. And you know, coastal road is easy to erode as a result of salt and swampy nature of the terrain. Until we have a serious roadmap on road maintenance in the country, and like Senator, I think Senator Ikeja suggested, we should have a roadmap on how to maintain our roads and also how to ensure reconstruction.
Now, the latest monthly oil market report of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has shown that Nigerian crude oil production rose a little above 1.5 million barrels per day in January, meeting the quota set for it by the oil cartel. According to the OPEC report, Nigerian produced an average of 1,539,000 barrels per day in January 2025, slightly higher than the 1,485,000 barrels per day recorded for Africa's largest oil producer in December 2024. However, based on secondary sources, the oil cartel recorded 1,495,000 barrels per day, 29,000 barrels lower than the 1,525,000 it recorded from secondary sources in December 2024. We'll move to the Central Bank of Nigeria, where the bank has conducted an open market operation auction for the month of February on the 13th day of the month, attracting significant investor participation, and total subscription reached 1.915 trillion naira, indicating continued confidence in CBN's liquidity management instruments. However, compared to the January 31st, 2025 auction, demand was noticeably low. Despite this, the central bank increased the total volume of successful bids, selling 1.395 trillion naira worth of OMO bills, a 39.5% increase from the 1 trillion naira sold in January. Audit, tax and advisory services firm KPMG has unveiled an advanced software technology tax audit to streamline and improve efficiency in tax compliance for companies in Nigeria. The launch, which was held at the company's premises in Lagos, brought businesses together to explore how technology can be deployed to strengthen corporate governance, improve data collection and storage, ensuring efficiency in tax payment, reporting and compliance while saving operational costs. With high inflation rates, rising tax liabilities, intensified regulatory enforcement and special audits such as transfer pricing assessment, tax audit presents a proactive solution for businesses to navigate Nigeria's tax landscape while helping companies reduce the risks of unexpected tax bills. The Financial Services Industry and Deals Advisor at KPMG, Mrs. Olanike James, stated that it is important for businesses to take advantage of technological services such as tax audit to optimize tax costs, a key move to help businesses adapt to the changing tax environment while maintaining profitability. Let's take a break here. We'll be back shortly.
When the city is getting too loud, you need a home. Home is love, peace, and tranquility. Home is Housing TV Africa. Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.
You're still watching Business News. Moving on. Now, the number of companies approved to provide loans to Nigerians through digital platforms popularly known as loan apps has surged to 380 this February from 320 in October last year. The 380 companies now serving the digital loan market have secured approval from either the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, or a license from the Central Bank of Nigeria to provide the service. A look at the FCCPC database shows that 322 of the digital lenders have been granted full approval by the Commission, while 42 others are operating with conditional approval. The database also includes 16 companies licensed by the CBN, bringing the total number of approved digital lenders to 380. The European Union Nigerian Agribusiness Platform has inaugurated a technical steering committee to enhance agribusiness trade and foster investment between Nigeria and EU member states. Mr. Roland Oro, Chief Executive Officer of the Agribusiness Register Limited, highlighted that the platform aims to generate an estimated 575 million euros in additional trade value for Nigeria's agribusiness sector. He stressed the need for active involvement from government agencies, private sector players and development partners to achieve these objectives. Wemaboard Limited, a real estate developer and a subsidiary of Odua Investment Company Limited, is collaborating with two companies in furtherance of its determination to provide Nigerians access to world-class amenities. According to the statement, the partnership would see Wemaboard Limited, El Salem Nigerian Limited and Transforstress Global Resources developed two projects in Lagos, a luxury residential development in Ikoyi and a dynamic commercial hub in Ikeja. According to the companies, the residential project located at 18C Lugard Avenue, Ikoyi, will set a new standard for upscale living in the city. The development promises to offer residents unparalleled luxury, sophistication and access to world-class amenities. Speaking on the significance of the partnership, the chairman of the board of directors, Wemo Board, Nurini Adisa, said the joint venture represents a major milestone in the company's commitment to delivering innovative, high-impact projects that elevate the standard of urban development in Nigeria. According to Adisa, partnering with El Salem Nigeria Limited and Transforstress Global Resources allows the companies to combine strengths and resources to achieve remarkable results. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Kadoso, has called for deeper backward integration in the telecommunications sector, urging industry players to localize key supply chains and reduce dependence on foreign exchange. This was disclosed in a statement issued by the Apex Bank. According to the statement, Kadoso stressed that the telecom firms must take concrete steps to produce essential components such as SIM cards, cables and towers locally to reduce pressure on dollar demand, create jobs and strengthen the broader economy. The CBN governor made the remarks in Abuja during a courtesy visit by Airtel Africa's management team led by the Group Chief Executive Officer Sunil Telda. Kadoso noted that the Apex Bank had spent the past 16 months stabilizing the foreign exchange market, strengthening the Naira's competitiveness and boosting investors' confidence in the Nigerian economy. He stated that with these improvements, telecom firms must now embrace local production to sustain economic progress. The Bank of Industry has signed a memorandum of understanding with the development agency financial sector, deepening Africa to strengthen green financing in Nigeria. According to a statement, the managing director of BOI, Dr. Olasupo Olusi, stated in the signing ceremony held at the BOI headquarters in Lagos that the partnership was a crucial step towards promoting climate resilience and sustainability in the bank's operations. He noted that the agreement would help BOI refine its sustainability strategy, develop decarbonization pathways, and advance adaptation finance initiatives. Olusi added that these efforts would enhance the bank's ability to offer tailored lending solutions for climate-focused projects in Nigeria. To wrap up business news on the stock market, now Dangote Cement and Sunny Assurance Nigeria led the gainers chart at the end of the Thursday's trading session of the Nigerian exchange. Dangote Cement emerged as the top gainer, appreciating by 10% to close at 474 naira 10 kobo per share. The surge in Dangote Cement shares price significantly contributed to the overall market's positive performance, driven by increased investor demand and positive market sentiment. Sunny Assurance Nigeria followed closely with a 10% increase, closing at 6 naira 27 kobo per share. The insurance firm maintained its upward trajectory, benefiting from investor confidence and strategic positioning within the insurance sector. Regency Alliance Insurance also recorded a 10% gain, closing at 77 kobo per share. This growth is attributed to positive sentiment in the insurance industry and increased buying interest in low-price stocks. The Nigerian Exchange All-Share Index gained 1.25% to close at 109,172.03 points, contributing to a year-to-date growth of 6.07%. The market capitalization now stands at 68.1 trillion naira, highlighting strong investor sentiment and strategic buying in key sectors. Still in the stock market, the Nigerian stock market tracked by the All-Share Index wrapped up the trading session with a strong surge, gaining 1,247.8 points to close at 170,822 naira 52 kobo. The significant increase reflects a 1.17% rise from the previous closing figure of 160,574 naira 71 kobo as the index shattered the 170,000 barrier, achieving a new high. Notably, despite the upward price action, the trading volume experienced a slight decline of 3.27%, falling from 478.3 million shares traded the previous day to 461.7 million. However, market capitalization demonstrated resilience, exceeding the 67 trillion naira threshold and closing at 67.2 trillion naira across 15,629 transactions. That's the much we can take on business news. A quick recap of our top stories before we go. Senate passes 54.99 trillion naira 2025 budget. Nigerian crude oil production rises above 1.5 million BBD, says OPEC. Licensed loan app companies in Nigeria surged to 380 amid concerns over shady practices. In the stock market, equity market gained 842 billion naira, highest in February. For more news in the business world, subscribe to Housing TV Africa on YouTube and follow Housing TV Africa on all social media platforms. Download the Housing TV Africa mobile app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. I am Maimuna Bagudu. Bye for now. Welcome to Housing TV.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts on Facebook, Housing TV Africa, on Twitter, Housing TV Africa, Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting.